I put my trust in you, and I trust in love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello, friends. My name's Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain, and we're your fuck buddies.
We're your sex and dating advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situation, turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Nailed it. Simply put, we are a podcast, and we find sex and dating advice questions either from our wonderful listeners or from around the internet, and we answer them right here, right now, every Monday. And we're going to start, Dane, with an update. Would you like to kindly cast your mind back into the depths of the past? The thing you like to do most, remembering a past podcast episode you've recorded.
Yeah.
But you will remember this one, the brick question.
Okay.
There's an update. She gave me a brick as big as my head, guys. She's the one. I bought her a brick and wrote, "Will you go out with me?" on it. And I put it in a basket with stuff she likes. But when I picked her up, she carried her brick down the tote bag and handed it to me, and boom, there it is. So obviously I asked her out, gave her her brick and basket, and she said yes, smiley face. Now, if that ain't the most romantic story in the 2020s, I don't know what is.
I love it. And this is, to be fair, that was the advice. So I would like to take full credit for this person's relationship.
Well, think about it this way, right? She comes down with a brick. You don't have a brick. Damn. Yeah. She's all of a sudden going, I don't know. Am I doing the right thing? Am I with the right person?
Sorry, I thought we had something.
Yeah. I thought you were fun.
I love that she got a giant brick.
Yes, that's green
right?
flag city.
There's a lot of things happening there. One, it's like, who doesn't like a strong woman? Both, of character and of body.
And of humor.
And yeah. And she's just like, I'm going to find the biggest fucking brick that I could get.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to sling that over my shoulder for him.
Yeah. That's genuinely one of the greenest flags I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And we're here for it. So I hope you brick lovers I hope you do it.
And I like that he was like, you know what? I'm gonna solve if the brick isn't enough, I'm gonna give you a little gift because I'm not sure. I think that's
you're
also
right.
a smart move.
Red flag.
Yeah.
It didn't commit.
She's too good for you.
Yeah. She didn't give you shit, did she? She gave you a brick because she had full faith. You hedged your bets, and that's loser behavior. Get out. She can hang with us, but you can't.
Yeah, you need to go find a bigger brick.
And a bigger.
These people's fucking apartment is going to be a nightmare because it's going to be like with what happened with my mom and my aunt, where my aunt got my mom like a clown thing once, and my mom was like, "Oh, this is nice," and then everyone was just like, "Oh, Lynn, she loves clowns," and proceed to give her, now we have a whole fucking cabinet full of clowns in my house.
The crazy thing is, it's like that sucks no matter what. If it's like, oh, you really like, I don't know, Breaking Bad. Here's all the Breaking Bad memorabilia. But clowns is the worst one for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? A lot of people like talk about when they see my house for the first time or my parents' house for the first time. It's better now because it's all contained in one cabinet. There's just one clown cabinet now.
Clown cabinet. Yeah.
But before I'm pretty
sure I was there before the clown.
Yeah, I think
clown consolidation of.
Yeah, I think you saw sort of the like, it was just like nowhere in the house was safe. Everywhere you look, there was a clown. And I want to really stress that the clowns on display were not cute.
No, not that clowns. Some of them were pretty haunted. Really. Yeah, there's a very haunted painting. It's fucking cool, but it's haunted as fuck.
My current partner is absolutely fucking obsessed with that painting. And
it's rad.
Straight up has been like, when your parents die, we're getting that painting.
Damn. Damn.
It's like, okay, baby.
That's how horror movies start. All right, you ready for a question?
Yeah.
This is actually, this week, what are we going to talk about, Dan? We're going to talk about, I made a performative male profile on Hinge and did real well.
How to fill her cup emotionally.
He gives his mom back rubs every night.
Difficulty finding sexually compatible partners.
This is by Pop Immediate 232 or 232 or 232, whichever way you want to do it. I made a performative male profile on Hinge and I got a ton of matches. Inspired by the video, I became performative to bag ABGs on Hinge on YouTube. I tried it myself. Basically stole the prompts on video and used pictures in which I look like a performative male. Also bought the same Michelle Obama biography and made a picture with that. To my surprise, I actually got a ton of matches, 60 plus in 48 hours. I'm average looking, but good pictures, and of course paid for Hinge Plus. So I had the same results like the video. To write with the women, I mostly used ChatGPT, told it it should write as if I was super soft and so on. What was interesting is women would stop responding pretty quick. Even though the message before they wrote big text. In my view, they thought that this is what they wanted, but when they got it, they were not interested. I did not meet any of them in the end.
Dude, I wonder why. Hey, so I made a fake profile that had nothing to do with me, and then I used a garbage robot machine to talk to them.
Yeah.
Why?
It's almost like all my responses were like vapid and uninteresting, and they could probably tell from a mile off it was ChatGPT. So I guess I've proven that manly man are the only way to go.
And it's not even just ChatGPT. It's ChatGPT through a judgment value that you've made
soft.
about so it's like it's like, you know, there's so many layers of inauthenticity, disingenuousness, that
also
like
just
anyone,
a strong level of not getting it.
yeah.
Just no thoughts, just vibes up there.
I would love to. I'm curious as to. I would like to watch this video now, and I will be making a separate YouTube account so that my algorithm never knows that I ever clicked on this video, because I cannot see anything else right now. My YouTube algorithm is pretty fucking spot on. I've honed my YouTube algorithm over like 20 years, and
are you a YouTube boy?
I mean, I used to be. I used to do YouTube things.
No, I know, but I mean, like, do you watch the YouTubes?
I've recently been getting more into YouTube content because it's something I can, like, if I'm eating and I'm doing something. There are times where I'm like, I know that this sandwich is going to last me like 7
minutes max. Yeah.
So I don't really want to start an episode of Daredevil and then like not do work. So I'll go on YouTube and be like, I'm going to watch a
7-minute video about day game. But like, yeah, I find that YouTube is a lot of perfectly sized entertainment portions of, and it's like, maybe I'll watch some like Dropouts greatest hits. There was one where it was just like Zach Oyama's perfect like comedy sniper moments, and which is all his moments.
What else do I want when I'm eating a sandwich?
That's fair. Yeah, I never use YouTube, honestly, like ever. I think the most, like, if I go on, my algorithm on YouTube is just like, here's music, because I don't think I've really ever used it to watch anything but music.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I have, I mean, there's very few people that I like. I don't really follow people. It's vibe based. And it usually is like compilations of stuff and like, but it's stuff that I want compilations of.
I'm glad.
I'm glad. Xander's best hits from Buffy and you're like things like that. And it's like, yeah, this is great. I don't really have to focus on anything. And if I have to turn it off midway through, it's not like
I can be upset.
What could I possibly... Now I don't know what's going to happen with Xander's greatest hits, like the later seasons.
Well, they usually do the best one at the end, so that's why I always watch them backwards.
Yeah. What the fuck are we talking about? What is this question?
The question was the performative male ChatGPT shit show of just like, again, having zero fucking idea how the world works and then confidently being like, I've proven this wrong. Like, you're being so much more performative. You understand this, right?
Yeah, you're being a performative male.
Yeah,
so like like I said, layers of disingenuous attempts. Because like, okay, look, boom, you've made a profile. You're getting matches. You're swimming in ABGs.
What does that even mean?
I believe it's Asian baby girl.
Oh God!
I think, or Asian baddie girl or something like that. It's definitely a fetishized, racialized term.
Didn't expect that one.
If I'm not mistaken, you're matched with every woman in the city. Everyone wants you, and then you use ChatGPT to now woo the ones that you connect with the most. And now they're like, hey, can't wait to meet you. Let's grab a drink. You meet up. You are not only incapable of talking to them without ChatGPT, you're also nothing like how you said you were or the way that you spoke previously, because you're using AI. Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think that like when you show up, probably not in the outfits that you're wearing, if you like did a whole wardrobe change for your photo shoot, and if they start talking about like, did you read the Michelle Obama?
Of course not. This person's using ChatGPT to chat. They can't read.
So it's like the second they start talking about things and concepts and ideas and whatever that you don't know about, like, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to say? Are you just going to be like, gotcha, I'm nothing like that. I'm the opposite of what you thought I was.
Yeah.
And you think it's going to go well for you?
Well, yes, because this person also was like, I did a thing, that thing worked. Then I did an unrelated thing that was clearly not going to work, proving that people actually didn't want the first thing. And it's like, okay, you're just bad at science. But also, I kind of want to talk about how seduction and performative males is such an interesting kind of like crossover, because seduction's whole thing is being performative.
Yeah.
Like, literally their entire fucking bag is, here's how to fake a you. Here's how to do all these things that you are literally doing a performance. There's no genuineness to any of it. So all they're doing is being fucking performative. And yet they have a problem with the quote unquote performative male like trend, which is funny because arguably it's exactly what they aim to do. And I think the reason they just don't like it
gambit
is because it's quote unquote positive things and they're allergic to that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're looking at it and being like, well, that's the cuck version of what we're doing. And it's like, all right, man, like it's
also feel
also
like
funny because I'm sure they just assume that like I'm sure they would look at us and call us performative males.
For sure. Well, that was another point I wanted to make. You finish.
I think we're going to make the same point. So please.
No, you go.
Please
Hit
go.
me.
So like they're looking at men being responsible and vulnerable and, you know, actually being aware of the world and trying their best to make it safer for women and the people that they date. And
themselves
working, right? And like they see success because that's kind of where the trend is going of women being like, I'm not gonna date an asshole, and I'm not gonna date a dude who's going to push and pull and neg me and whatever because I don't want to. And then they see these guys doing it, and they're like, "Oh, the performative male." It's like, okay, like if you're that upset about it, then like, and they can't wrap their head around being like, "Oh, you're being genuine."
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
it's
they can't comprehend like, oh,
they see niceness
wait,
and they're like,
second.
no way that's real. Like that's so fucked up.
Yeah, they like have a hard time processing the fact that you can be genuine and you can believe these things and that it's not a grift.
Yeah, because the thing is, the whole like performative male trend is so much more prevalent than I think any amount of performative males are. Like, I'm sure, like, we all know people who are a little like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm so woke or whatever, and aren't really, or like try to use
go
it
to the way to be like, I'm a feminist.
Yeah, but it's not that prevalent. But like performative male theory or whatever has just blown up. Like the week it fucking existed, there were the performative male like contest in like New York, where everyone was showing up as performative male, which is really funny. But to me, it's really bizarre how it went from nothing to this like that quickly. And I really do think it is like the toxic manosphere's way of trying to like cut down actual positive behaviors.
Yes.
I'd be like, oh, that's performative. And it's like, okay, cool. I think nobody could quantify. That's great for you. I mean, because you get to say it about anything you fucking want.
Yeah.
How do you prove you're not performative? Oh, I did these actionable things. Yeah, but you did them to seem not performative. It's like, you got me.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I was like, we live in a world now where I just pretty much assume everything is a psyop. I just assume that like
it's
everything
kind of been proven, right? Like the whole Pizzagate thing was literally all the pedophiles trying to be like, oh, we'll get out ahead of our bullshit and we'll just accuse the other side of doing what we do. And it's like, that was a conspiracy theory, and now it's just fact. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So I do think that you're right. I think there is I think it's a rich vein to mine for comedy as well. Like it is a very funny thing. So like
that's the worst part because it's insidious. Because I want to make performative male jokes.
Yeah. Like I get it. There's a lot of string to pull on that ball of yarn of comedy to like make fun of it. So I understand why, especially like, you know, women content creators are jumping on the trend to make fun of it. But I also understand that, as you said, like it is a pretty big target for people who want to keep men toxic,
100%,
want to keep men, you know, not swaying in the direction of progressive values and thought and whatever.
And like, you don't want young men seeing people being mocked for this, being like, well, I don't want to look like I'm performative, so I guess I gotta not be nice. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insidious, man.
It's a tough bit, and that's why you just have to like, you just got to be good, and if someone has a problem with that, then like that's a their tell situation. And like that's our advice for a lot of that stuff, right? Where it's just like, if you are doing something and you're doing it genuinely and authentically, and you because you think it's the right thing to do, and I'm not going to make a blanket statement saying that that's always right, because you could be on the wrong path, but you know, if you're tempting to be the best person for the most amount of people, and someone has a problem with that, then they can go fuck themselves. Right?
Likely the problem is on their end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those things where it's like, we're all going to have to double down and just be like, yeah, I mean, if you want to call me a performative male, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But it really has no bearing on how I'm going to continue to treat women, or continue to live my life, or continue to, you know, do this show. I'm not going to be like, oh, Niall, fuck, man. we gotta
have a mean segment now.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, man. I got to quit the show. Someone called me performative, and there's nothing more performative than a white man on a podcast about being positive.
Hey, yeah, there's like, I don't know. I think you got to look at it. It's like, what would be the benefit of doing hundreds of podcast episodes for? Yeah, I don't know. It's great. Anyway, we should take a break because we have our book club choice of the month, which is the Michelle Obama biography. Usually we take money to do these, but we just feel so strongly about.
Yeah, we just felt like it's really important at this point in time to really elevate Michelle Obama's message.
Yeah. What is her message?
I believe she was all about like kid activity, or was that Melania? I think
Melania and Trump are definitely about the kid activity.
I believe Melania or Obama or Michelle Obama was the like no kid left behind thing. I think was her initiative.
I think that we're really not performative, or maybe we are performative, but I don't know that the Michelle Obama biography is actually called Becoming, and I just had to look that up. Now edit that out, Dane, so I seem real woke.
Okay.
You got a question for me? Wait, I guess we didn't really delve into this thing. This is stupid. You're stupid. You're making a lie. You're fucking being like, oh, I'm a better person than I am, getting matches, and then going about the worst way by ChatGPTing them, which would have already been bad. But as Dane pointed out, you being like, do it soft. It's just, you don't understand life. You're acting like everybody's a movie caricature, and that's not realistic. Don't get ChatGPT to rate your fucking responses. You can do better than that. And if you can't, that's got to be an issue, and you got to be able to understand that, right?
You have to know that if the only way you can communicate with a potential romantic partner is through ChatGPT,
using a bland machine, like the worst
that pipeline. I mean, even if ChatGPT is giving you fucking gold, even if it's Cyrano de Bergeracing your ass, eventually you're going to get to a point where you're going to be face to face with this person, and you can't use ChatGPT unless you're going to look like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
Like,
but you will.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Eventually this pipeline of communication is going to come to a screeching halt.
Yeah. It fails or it succeeds and then fails, which is honestly worse because you put in more time and then the failure is more spectacular.
And you're looking at AI has been proven over and over and over again to melt your mind, to make you delusional. There's an MIT study that just came out that AI is like built specifically to feed into your delusions. So as you use it, you are getting worse at what you're using it for. In this case, speaking to other human beings. So if you want to be successful romantically and sexually, the most important thing, the thing we talk about every fucking question, is communication.
Yes.
If you are unable to do that without the use of a fucking AI tool, then you are not ever going to be successful in a relationship. And that is, and I'm not talking about, I'm talking broader as well. I'm not talking about just sexual or romantic anymore. What I am talking about is if you require AI to write your emails, if you're requiring to write your text messages, your dating profile, if all of that is coming from AI, you will never be able to have a proper human connection within like 2 or 3 years. Your brain will be so fucking rotted and slushy mud garbage that you will never be able to hold a real conversation, because at the back of your brain, it's going to say, what prompt would I use to respond to this? And that is a stupid, insane thing to happen to a human being that's in front of you, right? Instead of listening to what they're saying and reacting like a human being, you're going to be promptifying the conversation you're having. And that's a nightmare. And if you don't understand that that's a nightmare, you're already too far gone. You're already in the fucking slop.
Dane, I agree with your statement, and I'd like to respond in a way that's detailed and warm, maybe with a funny I don't know how prompts work, but probably something like that. It's bad. And that's the best thing is Dane's literally just talking about one aspect and not the myriad of other ones. So anyway, don't do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could turn this into a full fucking...
We could go for the next 40 fucking minutes about how it's a tool of the right wing, how it's fucking destroying the environment. But just don't atrophy your fucking social skills. Hit me with a question.
This is from Blue Jay Responsible. How to fill her cup emotional for sex. My fiance has never been the type to engage in having sex with me or telling me that she's horny. This is, I think,
bad start.
There is some, I think, language situation here.
Or they're an AI user.
I do not think this is this is
no, I mean,
so poorly
they've
that
stepped away from it.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like this
AI
is
brain.
Yeah, post atrophy.
Yeah. I think what they're trying to say is that she doesn't initiate sex.
Yeah.
Or telling me that she's horny or anything like that. The sex is good when we have it, but if I don't initiate sex, then we are not having sex. In the past, I would do tests throughout weeks to see how long I could go if I don't initiate, and basically crack every time around 2 weeks. I've come to kind of resent her for it because I guess I'm like, I'm done. I don't always want to be the one to initiate sex, as I want to feel some passion, feel desired by her as well. It's always been incredibly hard to speak about my feelings, in addition to my girlfriend being incredibly emotional, and she breaks down and cry every time I calmly speak to her about any problem. The time I brought it up, I asked if she ever has urges to have sex or jump on me, and she told me I need to fill her cup emotionally with walks, quality time, and other love languages before she wants to basically reward me with sex, like it's some kind of transaction, which doesn't sound like an urge to me. Even after working on making sure I do all those things, nothing has changed. What do I do? What do I do as I've basically come to terms with the fact that our marriage will just eventually become a dead bedroom relationship forever?
Well, first off, why'd you marry this person?
Or why are you their fiance? They're not even married yet.
Oh, okay. But I mean, why'd you get engaged? Like, that's surely you've realized. Anyway, whatever. We all know how I feel about that. I was going to say communicate. You did. I hate the response you got. I hate that it was like, you got to do these things for you to earn your reward. Like, if she was feeling emotionally unfulfilled, totally valid thing to say or whatever, right? It's still super weird to be like, this is your reward. Like, I think that's really grotty communication. Now, it could be a translation error. Or it could be a...
And also, that's his editorializing of it.
Sure. We can caveat it for sure. However, we've talked about this before. If you have communication, if you do the communication thing, it's not just done. It's not like, well, I did it.
I talked. We talked.
Got to move on. Like, you've done it. And now you're putting in more effort where she asked you to, but nothing has changed. So this is time for conversation number 2, where you say, hey, babe, I've been trying to, make sure we go on walks, do all these things. Like, how has that been for you? Have you noticed an improvement? Like, and then see what she says. If she's like, oh, what are you talking about? I think that's pretty clear that she was just saying shit, right? If she's like, yeah, I'm enjoying it, but like, it really feels like you're doing it like performatively to get sex. Or is she like, yeah, I like this, but like when we go on the walks, you're always on your phone or something, or, talk to her, be like, hey, I'm trying to put in the more work. How do you feel about that? And then be like, on the flip side, you haven't seemed to want to have sex with me, and like explain like, hey, I genuinely feel like pretty upset about this. Like, I feel unwanted. I'm worried that, blah, blah, blah. Bring those concerns up and have an actual conversation. Because I don't even know if you've told her where you're coming from, or have you just been like, I'm horny, give me sex or whatever.
Right? Like, have you had the conversation of being like, I don't feel wanted. I feel like it's tough for me because when I'm the only one who initiates, I feel like it's something that I want and something you don't. And while I enjoy the sex that we have, and I love the sex that we have, and I feel like it's very good, I want that, like, I want you to want it, and I want to feel wanted. And those are important things, right? Because she's asking you for something, right? She's saying, I need quality time. I need my emotional cup filled. But you're asking for something too. And you are just as valid and just as allowed to ask for something in return as well, of being like, I want to feel wanted. I want you to put in some effort. Like, as much as you want your cup to be filled, like, I kind of want my cup to be filled too.
Yeah.
And like, I'm happy to find a place where those are done simultaneously, right?
Yeah,
Not
'cause
where it's like, I pour all of my attention and focus and whatever into your cup so that you may, dribble a little into mine.
Yeah. And
That's not how relationships work.
the thing is, you're not asking for more physical shit, really, because not having sex isn't an issue. It's just not having sex when she, without your input. So it's like, you're not coming at this like, I want more sex. It seems like you can have sex when you want sex. You just want your emotional cup filled, as Dan was saying. So it's like, it's the same issue. And it's like making sure that you're phrasing it that way and letting them know where you're coming from. And that should help them get their head around the issue. But also, if you're trying to put in the effort, maybe talk to them, check in and see how your effort is going. Like, are you meeting their needs? Is there something else or whatever? Like, the communication isn't just a one and done. That's the big point I want to make here. You follow up.
Yeah.
You
It
know
might
what I
be
mean?
worth like even saying like, what are some ideal things, right? Like make a list for each other. Be like, here are the things that like would fill my cup. Telling me I look good, telling me I'm sexy, saying you want me, initiating sex. Like these are things that I'm looking for, and those aren't like unreasonable things to ask for. Like you're not being needy. You're not asking for, as Niall said, it's not like you're saying like, I want a regimented sex every day that has to last X and you have to do Y and you have to, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not like you're being demanding or trying to regulate a sexual experience here. You're asking for emotional support, really. What you're asking for is not physical, it's emotional.
Yeah.
The same thing that she's doing.
I would also like clarify, be like, look, like you like having sex, right? You want to have sex, because if she wants to have sex but doesn't initiate, what, like, it doesn't make sense. Whereas if she doesn't want to have sex, that sucks. And that's also something you really need to figure out. Like, she's just reluctantly saying yes every time you want to, which of course is going to be in the back of your head if you're the only one initiating. And this is just a thing you need to get out of the way and figure out before you guys get married. Because if for some reason her sex drive just isn't there, you're going to need to know that. If it's already causing problems, you don't want to marry someone and find out that they just have zero libido or are asexual or whatever, if sex is a high priority thing for you.
Yeah. And like, look, it may also come down to something as like, there is a block for her regarding either socialization, past trauma, a hang up on sex for whatever reason. Like this, you might be asking more of her than she has the capacity to currently deal with, in the sense of like, maybe she does need to go to therapy and work on some things that like, that there is a block in terms of her mind being like, you're allowed to ask for sex. Like sex is a thing that you're allowed to do. You don't need to wait for the man to initiate sex. You don't need to, like, you're not a bad person if you want it. Because I know a lot of people who still hold those ideas of being like, hear it all the time at the bar, where people are like just talking about how it's got to be them. Like, you can't give it up too early, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this is the fucking 50s. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Hopefully, when you start to communicate, if there is an issue, she will bring that up, right? Like, she could have been deflecting with the like, oh, my emotional you don't know. So you got to keep communicating until you get to the bottom of it. And if your partner is unwilling to communicate, or like not doing it in good faith, or just dismissive, or you're not getting anywhere, then it's time to have either a hard conversation or make a hard decision.
Yeah. The idea of just resigning yourself and being like, well, I guess it'll just be a dead bedroom. That's not the only option.
Yeah.
Like there are other options here. And it's like, you don't just have to resign yourself to unhappiness forever.
Yeah, that seems like the bad option.
Yes. And I understand that, like, breaking off an engagement is tough and big, a big deal. But
easier than breaking off a wedding.
Yeah. Or divorcing to like a year in after you've spent all this money on a fucking wedding. And, like it's not the only option. Consider that as well. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back.
He said he gives his mom back rubs every night. That's by opening Amoeba 9131. Went on a third date with a guy, male 29, and we were on the topic of me buying a home. He tells me he has no desire to move out and lives with his mom. He smokes weed with her all the time and does bong rips with her on the weekend. He then tells me he pays little rent and it covers the groceries she buys him, then blurts out, I give her back rubs every night. Is this something normal to say on a third date with pretty much no context?
I mean, I think that's the least troubling thing that's happening here. I mean, like, I think more the fact that there's a 30-year-old man or almost 30-year-old man who says, I have no intention of moving out of my mother's house. I think that's the bigger problem.
100%.
Right?
100%. It's funny because that seems almost like the throwaway one, and it's like almost like getting worse as it goes down, but it's the opposite. Gives her back rubs every night? Good son. Well done.
Yeah.
Right?
Like if he was living on his own and he was like, yes, I hang out with my mom, we smoke weed, I give her back rubs. Like that to me, kind of sweet, right? Like if you're just chilling with your mom, just fucking
This mom's cool as hell. She bong rips on the weekend? Hell yeah.
Yeah, whatever. And it's like, I don't even like drugs. I'm not a drug guy. But like, if that's just someone like how they connect with their parents.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
You got a great
As
relationship
long
with
as
your
you guys
mom.
aren't doing something terrible.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. It's the like, I don't want to move out and I don't want to have any sort of financial responsibility and I don't really know, like.
Yeah, he's like, I pay little rent and she buys me groceries. It's like, are you useless?
Yeah, right. Like, okay, let's fast forward into this relationship. You start dating. It goes well. He finally is like, yes, it makes sense for me to like move in with you. I promise you, this guy doesn't know how to do laundry. This guy probably doesn't know how to cook a fucking real meal. He doesn't know how to go grocery shopping. There's
his mom's coming over
list
every night to get blasted.
Yeah. And maybe that's unfair to say, but
I think it's pretty fucking fair to say, honestly.
You need to look at like situations and context and like you're not focusing on the right thing. As Mel said, you seem to toss away the big problem.
Yeah.
Which is a adult man having no intention. It's not even like if, times are tough. If you have to move back in with your family, that's fine. I'm not going to throw judgment. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to try to emasculate you or make you feel like less of a person or whatever. Like if you need help and you have a family support system that can help you,
hell yeah,
by all means, go for it. But if you then say, I'm going to use this family support system for the rest of my life and never attempt to make my situation better, that's when I have a problem. That's when I think there's an issue.
Now, I would love to know, is there context we're missing? Is he like, oh, my mom needs help or something? Yeah. Right? Like, is the weed he smokes with his mom because she has a medical issue and it's like medical marijuana?
Yeah, it's like, she has terminal cancer and this is the only way she feels good and I get to spend time with my mom.
Are the back rubs also a medical thing? Because with a little twisting, this could actually be a very sweet but also heartbreaking scenario where he's actually a good guy. If it's literally just like, I don't gotta pay rent, I get blasted every day, like, blah, 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 like, if he's not even like saving any of this extra, if he's working, maybe he isn't, and he's just spending all his money on weed and staying at home and never wants to move out. Yeah, red flag fucking city. Who would want to date that? If he's a kind son, looking after his mom, giving her medicinal back rubs and saving his hard-earned money, great guy.
Yeah, if the whole like, oh, I'm never going to move out is because like, as long as my mom needs me, I am, right? Like if that's the vibe, then yes, for sure, I've got no problem with this. You're being a good son. But if it is a situation of just being like, yeah, I've been coddled my whole life and I'm living easy street, baby. You guys out there paying rent?
I'm a coddled, useless waster.
Yeah, then, I think there is a troubling amount of things that you're going to have to deal with if you continue to date this guy. And it would literally be, my guess would be like dating a like 16-year-old.
Yeah, 100%. But the important thing is like, one, to get your priorities in order. I feel like you almost went sexual with the back rubs. It feels like a weird way to go with it. Like, are you trying to imply that? Because like that would be an insane, awful thing. So maybe don't do that. And if not, then why is it an issue? And like, if you're worried about the other stuff, clarify, communicate, talk to them, be like, oh, wait, you don't want to move out. Why is that? If he's just like, I get to fucking smoke weed every day. Like, cool. Yeah. Is that your life? Is that your lifestyle that you want to get?
Yeah, my mom buys Doritos and weed for me.
Yeah.
Like why the fuck would I? And it's like, look,
you know
that's
what?
Your life.
In this world, maybe he's doing it right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm not going to like, I'm not saying this guy is doing anything wrong. I'm just saying, I don't think he's a very strong candidate for a successful relationship. If
Unless that's
this
what you
guy is
want.
happy, and I do think it's important to learn your life skills no matter who you are or what you do. But
Like podcasting.
the fucking world is a nightmare. If you got access to free weed and a roof over your head and groceries, like you're doing better
all
than
right.
a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if this guy wants to chase his bliss, go for it. But I don't think your bliss is at the end of the path of this man.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Conference Smoothie. Having difficulty finding sexual compatible partners. As the title suggests, I'm having difficulty, not with sex itself, but with finding a partner whose kinks align with mine. There are plenty of men I'm attracted to, but when I start talking to them and try to learn what they're into sexually, it rarely seems to match what I'm looking for. One of my biggest pet peeves, and honestly an instant turnoff, is when I share my kinks and it isn't met with the respect or understanding. I've noticed that as soon as men hear I'm interested in Dom sub dynamics, they immediately start acting like my Dom, even though I never said I wanted to be submissive to them specifically, or even had an open, honest conversation about what that dynamic would look like for me. Whenever that happens, I usually just stop talking to them. Another issue is that a lot of men seem to hear the word kink and automatically assume it just means rough sex, rather than actually understanding the kink world and the communication boundaries and trust that comes with it. Honestly, I would prefer someone experienced, as I have little experience in the kink world myself. I would love to become more sexually active, safely, of course, but I'm not sure how else to find men who share the same interests and approach to kink. Has anyone had this issue, and how do you go about finding partners who are actually compatible?
Well, you've come up against the problem of meeting normies. Just people who are just living life, just a normal person, unfortunately. Because I do think everybody's baseline sexual health knowledge and sexual knowledge and like sexual vocabulary and like kink knowledge are fucking low, right? Like there's a reason the show exists, right? If everyone was out there doing it right, people were like, what are you redundant fucks doing?
Yeah.
So is it the way it should be? No. Is it the way it is? Yeah, unfortunately. And I guess that leaves you with a couple options. That is to, when someone is ignorant, you educate them, right? You could be like, hey, I don't love that you immediately hopped into assuming I was, the sub, and basically elaborating on like, actually, this is what I'm into, X, Y, Z, W. And then once you open that door, if they're still like, I don't know, just being fucking weird or immature or that freaks them out, that's a pretty good litmus test. Whereas if they're like, oh, sorry, I thought you meant X. Yeah, maybe it's still not a great moment, but like, I think that's important, right? 2, you stay in kink communities, right? You join a kink dating app or you go to like kink events, and then you're going to be hopefully swimming in the same pools as people who have that vocabulary, who have the respect and the knowledge. That's the easiest way to do it, it seems like to me.
Yeah. There's where I'm struggling right now, and I understand everything that this person says, and I understand exactly where you're coming from. But there is the point at the end where she's like, oh, I'm not experienced, and I would like to meet someone who is experienced so I can learn. Mm-hmm. So you understand that like there is a onus sometimes to teach, right? To inform, to educate. And I understand it can be exhausting if you have to go through the basics of things with everyone. But I think that like it shouldn't be an immediate no or immediate turn off or whatever if someone doesn't respond exactly to the kink that you're proposing or talking about exactly the way, because then you say like, oh, it's important to communicate. It's like, yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
And I do understand, like, I understand the knee jerk of being like, oh, for fuck's sake, of talking about Dom sub. And someone immediately being like, well, I'll, like if it's getting like overtly sexual immediately, then like, yes, I get it. And I also understand like the idea of kink equating to rough sex for a lot of people and being like, that's not.
Again, normie behavior. They have no idea. They just think, oh, I saw a 50 Shades of Grey trailer once.
Yeah. Like kink could be something as simple as like, I'm going to wear clown makeup.
Yeah.
And we're going to have completely.
I'm sorry, we call that simple? I guess in your house.
Yeah. So here's a couple things. One, if you're finding an issue with explaining your kinks, then maybe don't put labels on that are so easily misconstrued, right? If you are into Dom sub stuff, but don't want to immediately determine that thing, then like have the conversation of negotiating what that dynamic looks like without using the terms.
Yeah.
The same thing as like, depending on what you're like, don't say you're kinky.
No one
Because
should ever
as
say they're
much as-
fucking kinky. Let's get that out of the way because that's
Yeah,
nothing.
because
It's
especially
nothing.
not to the general public.
No.
Right? Like if you want to describe yourself as that on like a personal profile
No,
or
I think
whatever,
it's
like
stupid.
sure, whatever.
Because as you said, like kink could mean anything, right?
Yeah.
So it's like to just be like, I'm kinky. It's like, that's a nothing burger. That's literally fucking nothing. Again, one guy over there is like, I'm kinky. He likes the clown makeup. The other one's fucking kinky and likes to have hooks in their back. It's like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
another person
So I
likes
think-
to get a little spanked. Like, and to someone else, that's pedestrian, not it's just like, it's
Also, just like
useless.
just looking like narrow focusing into spanking.
Yeah.
Can, like it
There's
is
a world
from,
of spanking. Yeah.
like soft rabbit fur, like like
Yeah.
cloth that barely does anything, up to like we're going to tear skin, like skin
Yeah.
will be broken in this spanking session.
Yeah.
So
or just like
I
hand.
think using
you know,
I
it's-
think using the word kink preemptively is
I-
never going to go well.
I just think
like,
it's
right, like I
stupid.
just don't think it's smart. I don't
it
think
doesn't
it's a
give
good
you
move.
anything.
Yeah. Because again, you talk about it. You say kink is about communication. Then you don't need to have this communication until you're going to have sex with someone. You don't need to bring up all this information before you want to start sleeping with someone or dating someone. So I just think that like maybe you need to pump the brakes a little bit, because I'll tell you right now, there's plenty of people that I met when I was dating who'd be like, I'm kinky. And they would like tell me their thing. And then I'd be like, great, let's set some ground rules. And they're like, no, that would ruin it.
Yeah. Well, you're not kinky,
no,
are you?
It won't do that.
Yeah.
And that was, pretty much every woman that I met that had a very specific rough fantasy did not want to set boundaries, ground rules, safe words, and because it would quote unquote ruin it. And I was like, girl, you're gonna get hurt. Like this is gonna go bad for you. And
Or for
I
you.
really need you to it's like I'm not going to participate in this. I'm already bowing out of this, but please for your sake, when you approach this with another person, please
do it right.
Be safe.
Yeah.
Because you are going to get hurt and it's going to go bad. And you might think that's hot in your head now, but I promise you, when you don't have a ripcord, it's not going to be hot. It's going to be
100%.
scary and terrible.
Yeah, for everybody involved. I love the point you made about specificity because, again, you're right. Kink, the broadest fucking term, and even dom sub is pretty fucking broad, especially if you have very specific ideas of how that works. So if it is that you want to be the dominant one, why say I'm interested in dom sub mechanics and not just say I like being dominant in bed, if that is it, or something like, oh, I'm interested in like power play or blah, blah, blah. Like there are ways to be specific where you're going to get rid of this margin for error, right? Yeah. Should somebody just assume that the woman's going to be submissive? No, they shouldn't. Is them doing that criminal offense? I don't think so. If everything else is going well and they make this little fumble, you could just correct them pretty fucking easily. And then if the response is weird.
I get the sense that she does want to be the sub. She just doesn't like the assumption or the like initial being like, I'm going to be your dom without talking about the dynamics of that. I think that's the vibe I get. So it's not even like they're missing the mark entirely. Huh?
Why are you getting that vibe, Dane? We got to talk about your toxic fucking behaviors.
Because she says my dom and not the dom.
Oh, so not toxic behaviors, just Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. I'm breaking it all down.
That would be worse. That would honestly, for me, I think then you're really just shooting yourself in the foot at that point. And like, again, I don't want to put the onus on people, especially women, to teach, especially men. But at the same time, it's like the world's not fucking perfect, right? People aren't just going to jump out the gate responding exactly perfectly to everything you're doing. So it's like, if you've tried to explain it and it just hasn't worked, that's one thing. But like, it does seem that you're like, well, they didn't follow my script. Fuck them. I think giving it a little Hail Mary try, if everything else is going right and you like this person, because presumably you like them if you're talking about your sex, predilections, just give them a chance. It seems pretty easy. You know yourself, communication is key. You know yourself, you could learn. Why then is it not okay for them to need to learn? So unless they say something completely fucked, give it a little college try.
Also, when are you having these conversations?
Yeah, is it straight off the bat?
The way you're phrasing it makes it sound like this is really early and like prior to ever having sex, prior to, I really don't sort of discuss or enter into kink or different dynamics until I've slept with someone a couple times. Because like, I'm not going to put in that much work if the sexual chemistry isn't there to begin with, right? Like,
Also,
I want to
like-
know what the baseline is. I want to know. I want to be comfortable with you. I want to like get a feel for where things are, because sometimes it just happens all naturally, in the sense of like, I'm not talking about like kinks that require safe words or whatever, but like sometimes it, like, sex is just as hot as you need it to be without throwing a bunch of stuff in. So kind of like, obviously, if there are things you want to talk about before having sex, by all means.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I think that like having sex before introducing, layers and layers of things is useful to sort of know where you stand, know what works, know what doesn't work, know what, like, maybe the things that you need to communicate a little bit more on. But like sometimes if you just kind of like let it happen naturally, you hook up with someone, you're like, fuck yes, all the fucking boxes are getting checked here, and now we can start getting granular and tweaking and doing whatever,
adding things and whatever. Yeah. I also think if you're the kind of person that can't have sex unless it's your kink, that's not good.
Yeah.
Right. Like if every time you fuck, it has to be your kink, I think something's gone wrong here.
There's a lot that like this question brings up in terms of kink. And it's an interesting question for me, because like, I don't want to harsh on someone who is very specific about their kink and wants to do it safely and wants to be respected for it.
You should.
I don't think that is not our issue here.
No.
The issue is like approach. You are looking for a specific result, and I think the way you're going about it, you're going to have a very hard time getting that result. You are casting the widest net.
Yeah.
And being
also,
like, well, why aren't I
presumably
getting the rare fish?
Presumably casting it at the wrong time too, because you're right. It does feel like this is first couple of like fucking paragraphs she's texting off. It doesn't feel like we went out a couple times, we hooked up, we did this, and then I brought it up. Or even like we've been on some dates. It kind of sounds like she's just dropping it on the first few like chats.
And again, like, Dom sub doesn't really mean anything without specificity, right? Saying you're into Dom sub, like, do you want to do it in public? Do you want, like, what is the dynamic? So saying like, I'm into Dom sub, and then if someone doesn't know the specific dynamic you're into,
not being,
there's no way. Again, being like, oh, I'm kinky, I like to be spanked, and then being like, figure out how hard.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the exact pressure, I'm gonna judge you. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're into Dom sub, build a relationship with this person, see if you're compatible in sort of the big picture, and when it's time to have sex and introduce these ideas, tell them what you want specifically, as opposed to being like, I want to be in a Dom sub relationship. Already doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
I am a sub looking for a Dom. I'm looking for a verse situation.
Mhm.
I want to be the Dom. And then still doesn't mean shit. Still means nothing. And be like, I want it to be bedroom exclusive. I don't want this to permeate into our day-to-day life. I don't want you to speak like this.
Yeah, you
while
can't
we're in
use these
public.
words at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These ones are great. I like praise more than I like degradation, like et cetera, et cetera. Like,
Yes.
there's a fucking world. So if you are already getting this upset at them not knowing immediately what you said, it doesn't really bode well for figuring out the rest. So again, I do understand it's shitty to have somebody just like knee jerk assume something because of like gender roles or whatever. Yeah, it sucks. Unfortunately, we've been dealing with gender roles for a long time, and we kind of understand where stereotypes are. So it's like, I'm not saying there's any truth or veracity to them. I'm just saying, like, you can understand that society has corrupted this person. And feel free to fucking correct them. Again, if everything else is going fine, don't let like a tiny blip be an issue. I think you should give it at least a little like whatever. And also, I don't know if it's worth making an issue of it if you are a sub. To be like, how dare you assume, but also I am. Like, is that beneficial to you? Maybe it is. Maybe that's what you want to do. That's fine. I get it, because I know it can be really frustrating. It just, pick your battles, I guess.
It's important to be specific about this stuff. And I think rushing into it, and I think being vague, like, communication is a two-way street. You acknowledge that communication is important, kink, but it seems like you're being vague and hoping they get granular with you, when if it's your kink, the getting granular is on you. That is
100%.
your responsibility to be clear and concise and communicate what you want, so that they can either understand or refuse.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
that's how it works. So you seem to be going big picture and being upset that they're not narrowing in, but you're the one who needs to narrow in, and they need to get granular even further in there at that point.
100p. This has been Fuck Buddies, the podcast, a journey through
Not
sex
to
and
be
dating.
confused with Fuck Buddies, the movie.
No, not to be confused with that at all. Thank you for coming by. We love you. If you love us, please join us on Patreon, where you're going to get a whole shit ton of bonus episodes. You're going to be able to support us, keep the lights on, let us keep doing what we're doing. If you're from Vietnam, hey, welcome. We see you jumped up to like 20% of our entire listenership last week. And we appreciate that. So welcome.
And just going back to the Patreon, there are so many women's biographies that we have to buy.
Yeah.
They are releasing, women are just releasing biographies nonstop.
Which we support.
We're so here for it. We need to read it. They're just so expensive. Books
Do you know
are
how
so
many
pricey.
fucking ukuleles me and Dane have had to buy?
Dude, it's tough. Do you know how many covers of Zooey Deschanel songs I've done?
Yeah. The amount of pocket watches me and Dane now have to load up on.
Do you know what it's like to have to constantly buy Joseph Gordon-Levitt's wardrobe every time you see him wearing a new thing? But fuck, well, now I gotta go get that.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Do you know how expensive matcha is? The green foul stuff is so expensive.
I like matcha.
It ain't bad. It ain't bad. I will say that. I will. Okay, look. Are you ready for some peak douchery?
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's not that bad, but some matcha's good. And I think somebody told me that it's like the cheap, because some of it tastes like fishy, and I don't like that. Apparently, that's the cheaper stuff. But the stuff that doesn't taste fishy, I do like. That's what I'll say. I feel like that's a reasonable thing to say.
There's a cocktail at a bar that I like to go to that has a matcha cocktail, and it's delightful.
My booster juice order is mind over matcha.
Nice. Mine was the protein one. I don't remember what it was called.
There's protein in the mind over matcha.
I always got the one that was like it was like berry, but
Nice.
I can't have booster juice anymore. It makes me so sick.
Come to our Patreon, support us, let us buy booster juice for each other.
Booster juice is so expensive now. I assume it was already expensive.
Yeah, it's fucking.
I can
crazy.
only imagine it's like $20 for a fucking
full ass meal for one fucking shitty smoothie. If you don't want to throw money at us, and why wouldn't you? But you could, or if you do want to throw money at us and also want to help in other ways, give us a review, give us a 5-star rating, share us, send us to a friend, join our TikTok, which we did a video that got like almost 25,000 views the other day, and it got thousands of likes. And I'm not even being exaggeratory, literal thousands of likes. And some people don't understand things, so get in the comments and tell them they're idiots. A lot of people do. Get in the comments and tell them they're not idiots. We love you. Join us. Are you ready, Dane?
Yeah.
This one's pretty powerful. We already talked about the best love story, but I'm about to blow clean out of the water with the real best love story. This is from the news. Woman got pregnant in jail by inmate passing semen through air vents. Florida inmate has miracle baby using air vent to get pregnant like Virgin Mary. An accused killer claimed she got pregnant with another accused killer's baby in a Florida jail after he passed the semen in plastic wrap through an air conditioning vent.
Now,
On purpose.
is this a co-ed prison?
I don't know, because apparently,
Which seems...
I guess maybe there were like two sides, but they were joined by a vent or something. But apparently they could talk through the vent. They struck up a relationship and they were like, let's get fucking pregnant the worst way possible, because they're not even having sex. He's jizzing in saran wrap, throwing it through a vent, and she was using a bacterial yeast applicator thing to get the cum up her.
Now, that all aside, is it really like the Virgin Mary? Is it really the comparison we want to make? I don't think that's how God did it. I'm 90% sure God wasn't like, hey, Mary, come to this vent.
Open up the saran wrap, Mary. You don't know, though. He does work in mysterious ways. And what could be more mysterious than saran wrap back then?
Yeah, my name is Dave Miller.
Can you imagine growing up and someone looks you up and they're like, oh, you were the vent.
Oh, you're the saran wrap prison baby.
Yeah, I'm not Spain. And I'm a saran wrap. No.
We're saran wrap prison babies, and we're proud of it.